It's Issues Today, a look at the challenges that face us all. Here's Bob Gourley.
Welcome to the program. It's a pleasure to have you with us. Well, today Dave Bego will comment on the growing influence of unions. Pastor Larry Stocksdale will detail what the model man is. And Jenna Rose Lothard on the stress of caring for a loved one. It's Issues Today. The issues and great guests. That's the winning combination. This is Issues Today. I'm Bob Gourley. Suppose you were 23 years old, really just getting started in life, and all of a sudden you found out that your 47-year-old mother had been diagnosed with a particularly aggressive fourth stage of cancer. Well, that 10 months that Jenna's mother spent with the disease and her relationship with her is part of a new book called Life Goes On, and we're going to be talking today to Jenna Rose Lothard about her experiences and how it has sort of really helped her life, or at least defined her life to this point. Jenna, good to have you with us on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you were very young at the time. You mentioned 23. Your mother also very young at 47. Certainly not expecting anything to happen. This must have been quite a jolt at that time.
Yes, it was very hard. It was very unexpected. She was a smoker. She quit smoking 5 years before she was diagnosed. But the day she told me she had lung cancer, none of us could believe it.
Wow, yeah, that's got to be a shock. What happened? Did you immediately then plunge into helping her out? Did you kind of withdraw? What happened at that point?
My life kind of stopped. I was 23, and I was going out with friends all the time. My life just stopped, and my main focus was on getting her well. So I would take her to chemo every Friday and basically spend all my time with her. And
you were, out of college at that point, or?
I actually did not go to college.
Did not, okay. But you were working, or?
Yes, I had been working at a dentist's office for 9 years.
And did you stop working then?
I stopped working for about 2 months towards the end of her life when she was in the hospital. So that's when I took off of work for the last 2 months when she was really sick.
Were you the only sibling, too?
I have an older sister. She's 28.
Okay, so she was a little older. So how did the relationship, did it change during the time that 10 months that were going on with your mother?
I would say it did. It definitely brought us closer. But I've always been close to my mother. It was just more of, I had to realize that she had stage 4 lung cancer, and the survival rate was not that great. So I just tried to take a lot of pictures and spend as much time with her as I could and make a lot of memories.
Right, and during and certainly if was she taking chemo and those kind of things, so she was probably up and down as far as her physical condition too.
Yeah, she was doing chemo for the first 8 months. She was actually doing very well with it. She still worked and continued her normal life, and she was doing pretty good with it. So.
Right, so that was one good thing. What were people around you saying too? Were they supportive of what was going on with your efforts and that kind of thing?
Yes, actually, when she was diagnosed, I made a Facebook page, and she gained tons of supporters and followers from people we didn't even know, and they just would always write her messages, and she would also do a morning post every morning, like a positive morning post, and she got definitely a lot of love, a lot of support, and a lot of prayers.
You know, social media, with all of the people that do criticize some of the things that go on there, it is a very good I think, source for those kinds of things, for kind of an instant. It can certainly help in those kind of situations, I think, because you do have people that you know are out there willing to help.
I mean, there's all different types of support groups. There's Facebook, and getting messages from people that you don't even know really helps a lot, just cheering you on. And a lot of people did that for us.
Right. What happened then since your mother passed on? What are some of the things that I imagine that you kind of got to a point where you were kind of looking back on that 10 months and kind of coming up with some things that came out of that? What are some of those things?
Well, after she died, I would still share my journey and how I was dealing with everything to all my followers. And somebody actually told me that I should write a book because they loved my posts. So I sat down and I said, how am I going to do this? And somebody told me to start from the end and the beginning will write itself, and that's what I did, and I wound up writing my book in 7 days.
Wow. That's some...
I shocked myself.
Yeah, I would have to. Yeah, you must have been closed in for a while there. Yeah.
Yeah, I would actually come home from work every day, and I would go on my laptop, and I would just put a picture of my mom up and just start writing, and it was finished in 7 days.
Wow. And I know it's been received very well. People are beginning to really take a look at it, and it's, when you look at these kind of things, I'm sure, it brings back kind of bad memories for you as far as that time, but also there has to be the positive aspects of it have to come out as well, I would think.
Well, yeah, there's definitely a lot of positives. I mean, I'll always have this book, so when I have children, I could show them, and they'll get a perfect idea of who my mother was. Grandchildren, same thing. And also just, I also blog, so that's a very positive thing. And I know people would want to forget the bad times, but to me, I don't want to forget anything, no matter how heartbreaking it was. I want to remember every little detail that I spent with my mom, even on the last days of her life, and I'll always have that now.
Well, that's true. Yeah, you will always have that kind of thing too. And what kind of advice can you give the people that are dealing with this, that are the caregivers for people that are having Alzheimer's, cancer, whatever it happens to be?
Yeah, what I tell everybody is to take a lot of pictures, because you never know. Make as many memories as you can. Spend as much time with the person as you can. And I always tell people to ask. Like, for example, I would ask my mom questions that I normally wouldn't ask her, like what song she would want to hear my wedding day. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Just ask questions and stuff that you would want to know the answer to if they weren't here. And I'll never forget, I asked my mom, probably a week before she died, I asked her what she was going to come back and visit me as, and she told me a ladybug, and now I see them everywhere. So.
Oh, is that right? Wow,
yeah. It's pretty awesome.
Well, yeah, that's interesting that you mentioned that you kind of ask questions that you normally wouldn't, because those are ones that can be delayed, I guess, to different parts of your life. But in this case, you didn't have really time to delay them, did you? So.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm. You just want to. Because there's stuff after somebody dies. There's stuff you're like, I wish I asked them that, or there's answers you want to know questions to. And if you ask them while they're sick, and even if you don't expect them to die anytime soon, you could still ask those kind of questions.
Right, definitely. And has it spurred you on also to kind of get involved with other people that maybe are having problems with cancer, that kind of thing too?
Yeah, I wanted to start volunteering at a hospital, but I've just been so busy I haven't gotten around to it. But I do get a lot of messages from girls around my age that their moms have cancer or their dads have cancer, and just talking to them helped me. They help me, and it helps them. So it's all positive.
Thanks, Jenna. The website is justjennarose.com.